All right, we're here to put it all together with our ice cream sandwich, and our learning target is I can smoothly include properly cited and punctuated evidence into a CER. All right, so now we are going to talk about that bottom section of explaining it and analyzing it and making this the big part of our paragraph. So we do have a big section here that we're going to take notes on. We are now going to explain the quote, otherwise known as analysis. Now here's why I called this ICER, because explaining is also our reasoning in this. So we kind of added the little R to remind us that this explanation is the same thing as our reasoning in a CER. So to kind of help us here, we've gotten a lot better at analysis, but to kind of help us here, I really wanted to have us stop and think of what am I doing in this section? What are some of the things I should be doing to my quote or my evidence? You should be explaining difficult parts of the quote, like if something is confusing, you want to explain that. You can share your interpretation or reaction, your thoughts about it, what you think it means. You can explain how the quote proves your point. See, she said that this happened, but it really didn't, so she's a liar. Or you can say why the quote is important in general, what we should be learning about this. And we kind of want to make this a big bottom section because your thoughts should be kind of telling us and linking this back to helping us understand your claim and how this all works together. Your thoughts should be kind of the biggest part of this, where you're bringing all of your evidence together. Some ways to help transition from quotes to this can be, as you can see from this information, or this means, this suggests, this is important because. These are just some words to help you transition into it to make that evidence to explanation or reasoning a little bit smoother. So let's take a look at our example of Death at Wizard School. Notice that this section is a lot bigger even though they only had one piece of evidence. So by making this claim to the authorities, Mrs. McGonagall was attempting to cover up what really happened. So now we know that she's lying. We know why she's lying. We're explaining what's going on in interpretation of this. The truth was, she herself had killed Headmaster Grubblesnort with a poison lollipop and then tried to make it look like an accident. Now, this could kind of be evidence because we're summarizing things up, but we are trying to show we are adding some important details and we are explaining why it's important that she said that. No wild basilisk had been there. Everything she said was a lie, and we're wrapping it up to bring it back to our original claim. So one thing we want to remember as we review all of this is anytime we are using information from a source, a text, a video, a poem, whatever it is, we should have all three of these parts of the ice cream sandwich, introducing the topic and starting to introduce using that signal phrase, getting into the evidence and quote, giving the quote and cite it, whether it's a direct quote or it's a paraphrase, and then explaining the quote at the end in some way. Now, often we want to make sure we have more than one piece of evidence, so you'll probably have a mix match of direct quotes and paraphrased evidence in a full, complete CER at the end, but you can use these to mix and match, whether you go evidence, reasoning, and use these various transition things to get in them, or if you want to do a bunch of evidence, use some transition words and phrases signaling in there, and then coming back to explain all the evidence together. This can help you write a smoother CER so that all your ideas kind of come together and it's clear what you're doing, where information is coming from, and your thoughts are connected back.